to live stream the webinar. Exciting, eh?
Okay. So now, if you see it, there's a thing. I can copy the stream link and go paste that into the YouTuber. Let's see if it's live. Yeah, it looks like we might be live.
I think we are live.
Yeah, we are. We are
right.
definitely
So
live.
let me.
Elegant.
Yeah. Hear myself coming back. So let me give you back control.
Oh no! You want to keep it, don't you?
No, you can take it. Once I've started the YouTube stream off, that's it.
Okay. Okay.
I would say one thing here, that Chris and I had a bit of a shakedown yesterday with this, and he froze on the end. You'll love this. He froze on the end, so kind of like quit it. And then because I was recording the stream on the cloud, I went to download it, and this thing was huge. I thought it can't be right. And it had 3 hours of Chris sitting there on his computer, reading his phone, drinking a cup of coffee. So this had recorded 3 hours of you without you realizing it on the end of it.
That could have been super embarrassing.
It could have been super embarrassing, but there you go.
I don't remember seeing a tally light.
Well, be warned. But it's one of those things. You've got to go through the process of doing this to be able to work
out all the different ways you can screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Malcolm Gladwell said after 10,000 hours, you're an expert.
Yeah.
You can do something wrong for 10,000 hours. I've worked.
I think Alex Lindsay told me today, he said in the Zen Buddhist mentality, they say you need to make 10,000 mistakes to become an expert. I thought that was much more apropos. So yeah, we're live. So this is what we're doing. We're just doing an experiment. Peter Wiggins of FCPdotco. Oh, by the way, I have a video to show you, Peter.
Is it the one? Is it the one I saw?
Oh yeah, I emailed it to you. What'd you think?
Yeah, cool. It's very cool.
Can I show it to the audience here?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do a sneak peek here, because Peter, we've invited you all to a production meeting. Essentially, is what's going on here. I'm gonna open up this little short little animation here. I'll open up the MP4. Whoa, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And then I'm going to, I'll share that screen, which is understandably a bit awkward in the thing.
Come on, Chris, why you're not using MIMO Live?
Well, because I'm not as smart as you. I would love to have you walk me through the audio issues I'm having, but here we go.
I'm gonna put a training on.
Okay, so check this out. Hitting play. Whoa! Did you see it? Did everybody see it?
It's like an Apple thing. Like two things changed, and you're like, "Whoa, that's it." Awesome.
So that's what we're doing. And actually, as I was making this yesterday, Peter, I was thinking possibly it could be FCPdotco Grill Live.
Maybe.
Because I gotta say, there's so many fun things you can do. You know, hey, we're firing up the grill. The jokes are fun. And my wife is a hell of a not barbecue, but grill. And one of these days we'll have a party at an event someplace, and she'll come and play. So Sam Messman is joining the party. Our grid has gone to a 5-up. He has the ability to turn his mic on. And there he is with all the hair.
Hi, guys.
You knew we were going to be live, right, Sam?
No. I didn't actually know that we were live. I didn't know that this was going to be but hey, here we are.
And there he is. So anyway, yeah, we're just doing an experiment. We got the 5 panelists here, and we can add up to, well, it depends on what you pay for, but I think you're going to have like 100 panelists, which is nuts. You can see 49 at a time. The attendees are there. We, if you attendees here, if a few more people could ask a question, that would be interesting. We just want to make sure that all works. And then I should probably monitor what's going on YouTube. We have 7 viewers over there too. Probably the 5 of us. And Alex Golner says when. That's a cryptic question, Alex, but when you could ask the question would be right now. And we're going to actually go live with this with honest to goodness, presumably interesting stuff next week at 10 o'clock, the same bat time, same bat channel. Am I the only one that's old enough to know what that means?
No, unfortunately.
Sam, do you have any thoughts?
I'm very excited to see this happen. I can't wait to see it. Mostly, do we know exactly, is this the first set of panelists, or do we know what the game plan is going to be for the first one?
No, well, I'm not going to say who yet, but in the Final Cut 10 community, I promise you this is a great guest. Now, that being said, one of the other guests had to back out today. When I asked him, he thought I was just asking to have a phone call, a meeting, and he was like, "Oh, wait, I'm way too busy to do a broadcast." So
you should have just said, "Let's hook up for a Zoom chat," and then go, "Right, let's go live," and just go like press the button and go, "You're live."
And just Zoom bomb him. No, I respect the man too much for that. But we do have some other ideas, and we're working on that. And Peter, I don't know if you know, but on the Google Doc. And again, thanks for coming to our production meeting here. On our Google Doc, I wrote down a bunch of different themes that we might think about in terms of making shows.
Yeah.
One of which definitely involves our friend Ryan Welborn. Hey, you want to hear something that's really encouraging? Watch Ryan answer this question. Hey, Ryan, how's your family doing with all the lockdown?
We're fine. Our life didn't really change very much. We homeschool.
Already
I work from home.
Yeah.
We back to woods.
Yeah. So the world caught up with you?
Yeah, kind of. Actually, we were traveling from May to December. So my kids got used to just playing with each other in tight quarters. And then it's kind of crazy. The route that we were traveling, we went Southeast Asia to Germany, Italy,
God,
UK, and home. Yeah, so
are you saying you're patient zero?
Maybe. I'm patient beta testing. Not V0, but
Simon from Motion VFX is complaining over on YouTube that he's seeing way too much of me on the internet today, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Before we came on, I have a question. Is that obviously NAB didn't really happen, but have I missed just a load of stuff? Are people really bad getting stuff out there? Or yes, we know that there was the Resolve update and there was productions for Premiere or whatever. And but normally I leave or come away from NAB with kind of like, 5 great things or something like that. But I just seem to have completely missed the news.
What do you guys think?
In the graphics world, Maxon and Red Giant, since they've conglomerated, I don't know what the tier of merging was, but they had a lot of live speakers. But even Adobe, I didn't see a lot of stuff from, and I didn't see a lot of new gear either. But a lot of that is just, even at NAB, is just, oh, I can't afford this room. It's cool, but I'm not the target audience.
Did Maxon and Red Giant have any sort of web presence announcement, or did they just change their website?
Well, no, they just, they just had like speakers, like a full list of speakers for like 5 days. Because they have a pretty big presence midway down the hall usually, with speakers going all day, and they had that again. I saw a couple things with a couple panels, but nothing major.
And how did they? Do you know what technology they were using to put this online?
Oh, I don't. I mean, it's all of them are recorded. I think it's probably a similar setup to what they had, because they usually do them as a live broadcast at NAB for people who aren't there. And so it was, virtual attendees. It was just it was happening in everybody's living rooms, not at the NAB stage.
Was there any sort of interaction, Q&A, with the virtual audience, or was it just pre-recorded stuff that they just put online?
It was not pre-recorded. I'm pretty sure it was majority live, and I think they went through YouTube or Vimeo. I only caught some of one of them live, and then I have them all flagged in the abyss of watch later, read later, bookmarks.
I mean, it just comes down to the kind of, I've always thought that NAB's kind of like pretty expensive, especially for me. If I fly from England, it's kind of like, a couple of $1,000s to fly, go there, the whole thing. And I always thought people could do stuff, online, but now it's all been forced online. I just seem to have missed an awful lot, I think. Or is it just kind of, you're not walking around or bumping into people and then so they're saying, this is really cool, go check this out, or I'm really quite puzzled about the lack of stuff that's come through.
So you're saying that missing out on the physical thing is making you miss things, you believe?
Well, the fact that there wasn't actually a show, right. I think both, obviously me not being there, I couldn't make this year anyway. And even if I could have made this year, I couldn't have made this year, if you understand what I'm on about. But the fact there wasn't a physical show, maybe just people haven't done the big PR push or haven't done the what they would normally get, or maybe the press hasn't covered it, or I don't know. But I just seem to be picking up a few things, just on the periphery about stuff.
Felipe, you were going to say.
Yeah, I think we are realizing two things. Is one of them, there isn't really that much that happens that is impactful during NAB. There is a lot of spectacle, but it's not impactful in terms of really changing how people do their work. There is a lot of things, what's coming up, a lot of things like Ryan said, I really can't afford this. So if you're not going there as a corporation, if you're going there as a freelancer or a small business owner, it's really, you're going there to meet people, right? And the second thing is we are saying that people are not stuck anymore to the NAB timeline of, I have to present that thing at NAB. So now they actually have time to actually finish what they would be showing at NAB. It's the same as CES, in my opinion. CES, there is a lot of nothing. There's a lot of vaporware. And they show a lot of things that maybe one day could be, but never really comes to reality. And I don't know, NAB feels a little bit like that. In previous years, NAB for me really was about meeting people, but not much about seeing stuff. I don't know, you walk one day and the show floor and that's it.
And one thing about the gear, well, two things. One, having it NAB is kind of your deadline, and so you have to push it out. Like, I mean, I maybe I just speak for myself in that if I'm given time, I just take that time, and if I don't have that hard deadline, then I don't have to crunch at the end. I won't push it out. But along with that, especially with a lot of the tech, a lot of the hardware, a lot was stuck in China, Southeast Asia. Like the gear, they got stuck and they were having to deal with, I mean, in some ways, saving their lives, like protecting themselves when they were they were the only hotspot in the world. And so production was halted, tech was bottlenecked.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is a combination of multiple things. One, it's the scramble to just survive. And that is either health-wise or business-wise. Two is it's the lack of the ability to change gears. Like, okay, I can't put this, giant load of equipment into a truck or a shipping container and ship it across the ocean and go to Las Vegas and show everybody. So what can I do? And these people are just caught flat-footed. They had never, I think most manufacturers have never thought about, what if NAB didn't happen? So if you're completely flat-footed, you have nothing to show. And then there are some people like that have been prepping for this, not exactly this, for a long time. If you look at what
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris.
No, I'm saying if you look at like what Grant Petty did, and he basically did the same presentation he's done for the last couple of years. He showed off his new switcher and his little mini studio with the old 1-inch machine in the corner. That's the way everybody should be demoing things. But the only thing I would do different is I would have a presentation like that, and then I would open it up to a Q&A.
And by the way, the Blackmagic one was way better than the Canon one, because Canon did a super corporate, boring pre-recorded live broadcast. It was massively boring.
I think here's the real question all of us have to answer now, when like video is kind of ubiquitous, is why are we doing this? And why specifically are these manufacturers, whose problems are they actually solving versus I do this thing every year. I go and I talk to these same people every year. I don't really know what any of this effect any of this actually has on anybody in any of the world. And I don't really track any of these things. And I don't really understand this, but I collect my check and I do these things. Whereas now this model is shifting to the point of, well, how are you really adding value to the lives of your customers, their workflows, and how are you helping them solve problems during a difficult time? And unless a company or manufacturer or product can answer that, it's going to get lost because people just don't have the time to give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I think that what we're looking at is that transition. Are we going to hold on to these old models, or are we going to transition to something else? I don't know how long this is going to last, where we all have to like hang out at home. And in some places things are opening up, and this is not a discussion about that. But what if we really are, 18 months from having a major event again? What if we are 18 months from having a major concert again? What if houses of worship can't gather together for another 12 or 18 months? People have to figure this out. What's so funny, Ryan? Oh, I'm getting a drink.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to answer a couple of questions here. Somebody was saying that Red Giant had to diversify its core business. Michelangelo Torres said that. And there were some questions in the chat about switching. So, Alex, if I, as the host of the event, if I change from the gallery view,
you're not the host. I'm the host at the moment.
I thought you gave it to me.
Nope.
Oh, okay. So you are. All right. So here's what.
I'll make you the host.
All right. You make
me
the host. So I'll explain then, and
you have control.
I'm going to make Peter the co-host so he can actually you know what? Interesting point. If I started the meeting, and I did, I can actually wrestle control back from you.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, but as the
depending on how he rolls.
As the host of the event, if I switch from gallery view, like we see here, to speaker view, all of the attendees and the YouTube channel will see that reflected. And so those of you, there's 17 people watching on YouTube, there's 14 people on attendees, and there's the 5 of us. But so I get to control that as the host. I thought I was sitting over here very judiciously cutting between stuff and not doing anything because I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, I find it interesting because this actually pressing the real buttons is the only way to sort this thing out. Yeah, it's like the little
rehearsal.
thing it's a good rehearsal. It's like the little thing with the not being able to see Felipe or Ryan to start off with. We didn't realize that there's a little toggle that you go in, you have to put on to get those people up. But now we know. Now we know. All I would say is that I was having a discussion with Chris on messages earlier saying about, getting him on. He wanted the email again. I said, shall I fire the meeting up early? Because we had a practice session. To which he said, no, I've already done it. So if it is about wrestling control, I'll just go 5 minutes early next time before you.
And I'll beat you by another 5. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Well, I think, is there anything that we haven't rehearsed here? It was a fun discussion. I don't want to take, we absolutely just pulled Ryan into this. He's like, you know, I really have work to do here. Is there anything else you want to play with, Peter?
No, I don't think so. I think we've kind of like shaken the whole thing out. I think we've discussed a few program ideas. I think we also kind of like having a kind of like a show and tell type of session during it at the end, where you can say, look, you know, I found this, it's really cool, or whatever. I mean, one example here is I would say that today I published an article by Oliver Peters on Color Finale 2.
Let's see it.
Well,
let's see it.
Do you want me to go?
I think only a co-host can share their screen, I believe.
Is that right?
Felipe, can you share your screen?
Yes, through my camera. Yes, I can.
Okay.
But not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
use the screen share feature.
So if I go share screen, and I go. Oh, hello.
That doesn't look like Oliver Peters.
That's not me.
Is that not your screen?
That's not my screen.
All right. That's weird. Who's doing that then? We are looking at Ryan's screen. Okay. So Ryan can share his screen.
Yes, but I was muted. Sorry. I tried to make you aware. I was testing.
I was like, who just creeped into our meeting here? And I looked at the icon. No, that's okay.
So can you see that now?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the article by Oliver that was published today about Color Finale 2.1. He took it for a test drive, and super excited because also today it's the first article where we've got the media box working correctly, which means you say what's media box, and you go, yeah, well, I want to better look at that, and you hit that, and it has a think about it, and it goes like that. Hopefully you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see that. But let me stop that, and it should be back to you, Chris.
Yeah, and then Felipe, I would be interested in having you show us your MIMO live screen if we could see that. That would be fun.
Okay, let's do that then. There it is.
Well, it's Inception.
Yes, let's put something. Well, let's get this off so we're not seeing that. Oh, not there. Here. And there it is. What's going on right now? So I have my GH5 that I can preview. I have my lower thirds that I can insert. And I could even insert my lower third on top of what I'm showing to you guys right now. So if I would just change the order of things here, I could have my lower third on top of my desktop. What else would be interesting here?
So does that mean you've abandoned Ecamm and you're using this now as your input source?
That's correct. That's correct. And there is a lot more functionality here. And this one, I think Ryan's gonna like. This one, there is, let me put it above my desktop so you guys can see it as well.
I must admit, I was a bit annoyed with Ecamm because they seem to nickel and dime you for the webcam output.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty expensive. Actually, depending on what license you buy from Boinks, MIMO Live, it could be a little costly. But super, super powerful, amazingly powerful. One of the things that it has the ability to do, I'm going to spotlight Felipe's screen. Can you go back to the screen, Felipe?
Yeah, sure.
He's actually using MIMO Live as a switcher prior to Zoom. So he's basically taken over the input to Zoom using what's called a virtual camera. And he has the ability to, do all this stuff inside Zoom. So on the far left side, you have all of your input sources, and you can add more sources. If you add another camera, you can add pieces of media, all kinds of whatnot. The column next to that, you have a stack, a layer stack of all those things, and you kind of think of that like Photoshop layers. And you can turn things on and off, and that could be cumbersome. So below that, you have a thing called layer sets, which allow you to create scenes. And I can see that I believe he's triggered those off of some some keyboard shortcuts. I'm assuming
Yes.
you're using some sort of hardware like a Stream Deck or something to fire those off.
Yep.
And the middle, or just slightly to the left of middle, that's where you would control all the individual elements of any one of these sources. And then the far right side is the output modules. Now he's turned off his video display just because of the feedback, but MIMO stands for multiple input, multiple out. So on the far right side, you can create all kinds of output streams and modules that are quite useful for broadcasting. And anyway, that's kind of what that is.
And then of course I could, for example, do a crop here on my video.
Whoa.
And
okay. You're freaking me out.
It does look super complicated though.
It is. I mean, it can get complicated, but it can get very simple.
The first time you sit down at it.
For example, if you use this video switcher that I have right here on top of the layers, I wouldn't need anything else that's in the bottom here other than the split screen and the audio sources. So the video switcher is the dumbed down version of all of this. But so for example, here on A, I could just put my video there. And then I can put on B video of someone else. I can put, I have here already pre-assigned guest 1, guest 2, guest 3. And the layers below is where, for example, the split screen would go. And you would see the split screen on the switcher here. So let me get this a little bit bigger for you guys to see.
Felipe, you've learned all this just by poking around at it for the last week and a half, right?
I basically...
And reading some of the manual.
Well, I did a lot of clicking around and a lot of document reading and a lot of tests. And
so I will say, and I owe this to Oliver Breidenbach because he has been showing up on Alex Lindsay's office hours on the weekends every week for like an hour. And I would suggest you follow Alex Lindsay on Twitter if you want to hear and learn all about that. But if you want to learn more about MIMO Live, you can literally talk to the developer. And I can't get this work. Oh, let me show you how to make that work. So I will admit, for somebody like me who is not, I have a problem learning new stuff. It is a little difficult to pick it up, but to be able to like talk to the developer is really amazing. So
can I just chip in with one thing? We did actually mention it, but there's a question on YouTube saying about the virtual camera on Zoom being disabled.
Yes, we should
mention
that.
If you download the latest version, the virtual camera is disabled and you can't get the input into it unless you're a whiz kid like Felipe and he's on the terminal and can like just hacks the whole thing.
Is that what you're doing, Felipe? How briefly? How are you doing that? And is this like next level alien technology you're using, or could I pull something like this off?
Not at all. Actually, I'm using an old version right now.
I asked you the question. I asked you the question. Could I pull this off? And just for the record, your response was not at all. So
I was answering the first question. I was answering in order. So yes, I'm using the old version. Yes, there is, with the current version, you can go, if you have Xcode installed, there is a command that you can run, and apparently it will work. The virtual cameras are going to start working. I haven't tested yet, but I think it was 9to5Mac that posted this, if I'm not mistaken. If not, they retweeted or something like that. And yes, even Chris can do it.
I did that. James Branch on YouTube is saying, Felipe is beautifully lit.
Thank you very much.
Best of us need to try a little harder. So sorry about that. Sorry, James.
Do you think there'll actually be a market for? Do you think that? I know you could green screen it, but do you think there'd be a market for kind of like pimping people's backgrounds?
Absolutely.
Kind of,
you
could just wheel something in that looks cool.
You guys, if someone opens this website there for me, mixme.com.
Mixme.com. Okay.
Yes.
You seem to be pretty smart. I don't understand why you can't just.
No, hold on. It's the wrong Mixme. Hold on. It's the wrong website. It's not Mixme. Mixme is mixme.com is something else. It's another mix.
You're not going to get me in trouble with my wife, are you? What are you sending me to?
I'm trying to find here on my emails. I sent myself an email. Basically, what this application does is creates 3D assets for you to put on your camera. So even stuff that would be in front of you. So it seems very interesting.
Okay, so I will tell you this, Peter. I think there's definitely a market for something like this, and the analogy that I've been saying to people is, if you were going to walk in Monday morning, Peter, and have a meeting with the head of the BBC in their executive office, would you show up in a ratty old T-shirt, a pair of cargo shorts, and some flip-flops? You probably wouldn't. You'd probably go, I'm going to meet the boss. Going to dress up, maybe put a suit on, or at least, a clean shirt. And I think that in today's day and age, this frame, this is the business suit of the post-COVID era. I need to think about, and James, I'm hurt that, I actually did put a light up here. I could turn it off. It could look like that. But to be fair, I'm not very good at lighting. So I did put a light up. Look, I got a little color behind me. I'm trying to be like Felipe. So that'll never happen. But this is our business suit of a post-COVID era. This frame. I put this one over here. Put this one like this. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty hard to do. So I'm crushing your head. Anyway, and I think it's something to think about. And I'll work on it, James. I don't know what to do more, but I promise you I'll lose sleep over this.
But I do appreciate the shovel.
It's a spade.
It's or a spade.
I was going to.
Yeah, but we talked about it before, so I thought I'd use your term rather than me call it a spade. And then we
by the way, Sam,
an argument about calling a spade a spade.
I have something for you, Sam. This one is yours.
Yeah, what the fuck? How come that wasn't shipped to me?
Well, there's a pandemic. But there was a whole bunch of reasons.
Amazon's still working. The post office is still open for now.
Still a whole bunch of reasons before the pandemic.
Yeah. Also, that's a relatively new development. I paid for that 6 months ago.
I know. I know you did, and I'm gonna make this up to you.
He's following the black magic way of doing things, maybe.
Yeah. This is vaporware, Chris.
It turns out they're a lot harder to make than I thought.
What is the streaming software again?
It's called MIMO Live by Boinks.
Okay. And that's what you were showing me the other night, where on record you can do ISOs as well.
Yeah. So another thing that you can do, Felipe, can you call up the? Actually, you know what? Let's try this. You want to try something? If anybody has to go, just go. Felipe, do you need to go?
No, not yet.
I need you. Okay. So email me. Have you ever done a MIMO call?
Yes, I have. I can actually send you the link now.
Send a link, email me, and I'm going to show you something really cool. So, and I'm going to explain what he's going to do. I'm going to spotlight him so you can all see this. What he's doing is he's creating what's called a MIMO call. Now, there's a web protocol called WebRTC, and I've learned this all in the last couple of weeks talking to Alex Lindsay. So WebRTC means, I think, real-time communication or something. Oh, yeah, we probably don't want to show that screen. Sorry. Oh.
Just a few passwords.
Yeah, we might want to edit that out of the YouTube show. Anyway, I'm going to turn off this spotlight. So what he's done is he's created what's called a MIMO call, which is it's a WebRTC request. And by emailing that to me, which I don't see quite yet, I will then open up that MIMO call includes a link in the email. I will click on it and it will open up my browser, and yes, it does work on a phone as well. And my feed will show up in Felipe's switcher from my browser. Still don't have it, Felipe, although I am getting stuff about work.
I will send you over iMessage. So let me just change back to my camera.
I guess you could do that.
Which is not this one because I have the desktop on top of it. Okay. Camera.
So and then it shows up as a web link on my browser, I will see the program output of Felipe's switcher. He will see me as a source, but most importantly, that WebRTC link can be. So here's the link coming in. So I'm going to click that. It fires off my Safari on my phone. MIMO Live would like to access your microphone and camera. So I'm going to hit allow. It now shows up in a browser window. Yeah, use that. Front camera, iPhone microphone, echo cancellation. Yep, do all that. And now I see in my browser, Felipe, can you, or you're going to put me in the other window? Is that what you're going to do? Oh, you're so clever. Felipe reminds me of me.
Now, a good question is, will your camera there switch on the call at the same time as it's here on Zoom? Because some applications, they take one resource like a webcam or an Ultra Studio, and then you can't use them elsewhere. So that happens as well.
Front camera. Oh, you know what? There was a button I missed there. Boom. Done. It should be working. It says I'm on air. I can see him. It's clicking. It's doing something.
There's a little troubleshooting button that's basically reconnect to remote peer. Once the video doesn't appear for some reason, you can just try to reconnect to them. And but I think because I can get your audio. Your audio is coming through just fine here.
Okay, I'm gonna mute my audio just to be safe.
Okay, but the idea is you'll appear in that gray box.
Yep.
Yeah, and we didn't rehearse this.
No.
But it's really cool. And then, like I said, because MIMO stands for multiple outputs, he can ISO record that web feed via the WebRTC link. Anyway, it's super cool, and it's been
which I am recording my feed here.
It's really gracious that Oliver has come to share that and to explain it all. Anyway, I'm gonna turn off that. How do I do that? Woo! Cancel spotlight. I will go to me then. And so, Peter, what do you think? Are we done here? Should we let everybody go?
Unless anybody has got anything else to add, I think we're just about done. I think we've proved it. We've gone, everyone can hear us. We've got the attendees. We've been live on YouTube. I'll do a bit more research into a few other things, but I generally think that we're kind of there.
Before we go, I want to say Ryan just recently released his new OSM iPhone with a new iPhone 11 model in it with the multiple cameras and stuff. And I've told Ryan this many times privately, but I have literally gotten edit jobs because of his plugins, and it's really hard to not tell my clients how easy it is to put their website on a screen or whatever. And Sam, you're doing, do you have anything that you want to say about our friends who are going to be supporting this little venture we're doing here?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. So Sam is infinitely smarter than me, and he figured out how to get somebody to pay us to do this. And I will just say this: it is a company that I enjoy. I've had great interactions with them over the past, and it will be very easy to talk about them.
Actually, no, it's fine. Well, we can. It's basically OWC is going to be sponsoring it, and basically, if anyone on this call, just start going through the product lineup. If you guys want to play with something or do something along those lines, let me know. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's like going to gradually be able to be done. But that's long story short is OWC is making this happen. They're responsible for it, and more to come. I will remind my friend Mr. Messman that there's like over 40 people watching this both on YouTube fine. And okay. So anyway, OWC has some great products. I think the fastest external hard drive I've ever purchased is an OWC NVMe drive. You'll hear me talk about that more later. Thunderblade is actually the one if you really want to like break the light. About
streaming with Mr. Lindsay, I actually sit and edit all day long. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Peter, thanks for making this happen. Sam, thanks for all that you do. And Ryan, thanks for getting roped into this. You're more than a good sport.
I'm a good fifth wheel.
But go check out his plugins. They're available on FX Factory, correct?
Yep. Or FCPX.com.
Okay. Super useful. Great stuff. And
Thanks.
Felipe, thanks for always having great lighting. All right.
And also, well, thank you, Chris, for kicking this all off. And just be very careful what you do for the next 3 hours, because I might still be recording.
Felipe, if you can't, hey, can you cue up that video as a rollout?
What
I emailed it to you.
Oh, you emailed me? Okay, hold on.
Did I put him on the spot? Okay, look, he's going to his email. He's going to download an attachment. He's going to load that into MIMO Live.
I'm so glad this is happening.
As a
This is
media,
exactly the vibe I was hoping for.
as a media event.
Oh yeah, I can definitely do that. Give me 30 seconds.
Sam, the vibe, I just watched the Goonies thing and it was like fun to watch, but it did not have the same like heart as just live. After being a part of Zoom meetings and watching a few things live, like it's crazy how machine it felt. But
Yeah,
it's still fun.
I think, look, we just can we just all promise not to take this too seriously?
Oh, good, completely.
Oh, I don't want to take
Yeah.
it seriously.
Yeah.
I want
There we go.
to casually attempt to be serious. Now,
So I'm just going to download the 3 hours of Chris sitting there,
please don't.
and then just speed it up as a bit of a time lapse and just play it in every now and then.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
just do the rollout of every show that we do is that.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
Chris sitting there for 3 hours.
Go, Felipe. Roll it. Spotlight it. Put it online. That's what we're doing, everybody. The grill becomes FCP.co. All right, we'll put a tail on that next time, and we will see you all next week, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time or Daylight Time, whatever it's called, on Tuesday. All right?
That's 6 o'clock BST, which is the important one for me.
Whatever. All right. Bye, y'all.